Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something crucial. How to shortcut your way to sounding genuinely fluent in English.
Yeah, moving past just, being correct grammatically.
Exactly. We're diving into those specific phrases, the ones that take your English from textbook level to, well, confident, natural conversation.
And this is, I think, where learners make the biggest jump. The core idea, really, from the material we looked at is this. Sounding natural isn't just about knowing more words.
Mm-hmm.
It's about learning and using conversational chunks. These set phrases, fluent speakers, they just pull these out, almost like they're single words, rather than building every sentence from scratch.
Right, like high-speed shortcuts that are just built into the language. And if
Oh.
you can get the hang of these chunks, you sound like you fit right in.
Hmm.
Whether you're talking to, I don't know, a colleague, a friend, someone you just met, it's not about fancy vocabulary, is it?
Not at all. It's about having the right functional tool, the right phrase for that specific moment, that social situation.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning then, because the goal is sounding natural from word one. What's that big red flag many learners have? The greeting.
Oh, definitely. If you're still automatically going for how are you
Yeah.
in most situations, well, it's perfectly correct English, of course,
That-
but it signals formality or maybe distance to really, optimize your communication. Sound friendly right away. We really recommend shifting to how's it going?
Yeah, how's it going? I like that one. And this is a great example of that chunking idea, isn't it? Native speakers don't usually say every single word clearly.
That's exactly it. They often squash it together. It sounds more like how's he going, doesn't it?
Ah.
And if you practice saying it like that, with that connected speech, you sound, well, faster, more natural. You blend into the rhythm.
And that builds confidence straight away. Okay, so we've changed the question. What about the answer? That classic kind of robotic reply.
Hi, yes, I'm fine, thank you, and you.
That one. We need something better, something that actually connects.
Right. That reply, it just screams classroom exercise. It's so formal. Real life is quicker, easier. A much more natural response would be something like, pretty good, thanks. What about you?
Simple.
Or even just, can't complain. Very relaxed.
Yeah.
Just changing that makes the whole exchange feel, well, real.
Okay, so we've navigated the hello. What's next for keeping things smooth?
Right. So once you're past that initial bit, the next layer is keeping the conversation flowing. You need ways to show you're actually listening, you're engaged.
Keeping the rhythm going.
Exactly. And this is where you need a toolkit for agreeing or showing you're interested without having to construct a whole complicated sentence.
Okay, so like if someone says, hey, let's grab coffee tomorrow, you don't just say yes.
Right. You jump in with something like, that sounds great, or
Yeah.
that sounds good. They're pretty much interchangeable, really useful phrases.
Got it. And what about when you really agree with something?
Oh, lots of easy options there.
Mm.
Instead of just repeating what they said, you can use things like exactly or
Mhm.
that's right. Or if you want to be really casual and quick, just totally. That's super common. It's kind of the bread and butter for casual agreement.
Totally. Okay, and what about just showing you're listening, stopping those awkward silences?
Yeah, those little engagement markers. Instead of just nodding, you can use interjections like,
Right.
really? Or, oh, that's interesting.
Or like, no way if it's surprising.
Exactly. No way. Adds great energy. These little things make a huge difference to the rhythm of the chat. The other person feels heard.
Okay. Now, there's one phrase you mentioned earlier, used a lot nowadays, especially maybe in North America. Australia, too. No worries.
Ah, yes, no worries. It often replaces the more formal, you're welcome, or even things like, it's okay.
It feels very casual. I hear it a lot when someone says, like, oh, sorry for bumping into you, and the other person goes, no worries.
That's a perfect example.
But is it ever too casual? Say, a potential client is like 30 minutes late for a meeting and they apologize. If I say no worries, does that kind of downplay it too much? Like, it didn't matter, they were late.
That is a fantastic question. And that's exactly where nuance and context are absolutely key. In that kind of situation, that professional setting, no worries, probably is a bit too relaxed.
Right.
It might suggest the delay was, nothing, which it probably wasn't. So in that case, something like, thanks for letting me know, or perhaps, not a problem, let's get started, would be safer, more professional.
Okay.
But if a friend says, hey, thanks for lending me your notes, then no worries is perfect. It basically signals, hey, it wasn't a big deal for me, happy to do it. So yeah, know your audience.
That makes sense. It's not just the phrase, but when you use it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that whole idea leads us nicely into this subtle but really important area,
Mhm.
politeness. Using what we call softeners.
Softeners,
Yeah,
okay.
these are phrases that kind of manage expectations. They make requests less demanding, and they just make your English sound smoother, more natural, especially when the stakes are a bit higher.
So contrasting the direct way.
Hmm.
Like instead of saying, I want the data by Friday, which sounds pretty blunt.
Very blunt. Or give me the phone number. It can come across as quite demanding, even rude, depending on the context.
Right.
Using softeners like, would you mind? Or could you please? Completely changes the feel. Think about, could you please help me with this report?
Hmm.
Versus just commanding someone.
It's a totally different vibe. But why is this indirectness so, like, valued in English-speaking cultures, particularly at work or with strangers? Isn't it just quicker to be direct?
Ah, but that's the cultural insight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Generally speaking, these cultures place a high value on saving face, both yours and the other person's,
Meaning,
meaning avoiding embarrassment, avoiding making someone feel pressured or put on the spot. So these softeners aren't just about being nice, though they are nice. They're actually essential tools for, smooth social interaction, professional success. They show respect for the other person's time and autonomy.
wow, okay, so it's much deeper than just manners. It's functional. Building on that idea of not causing awkwardness, what if you genuinely don't understand something? My go-to might be, I don't understand.
Which is direct, again.
Yeah. How is that different from saying, maybe I didn't catch that?
It's subtle, but important. I don't understand can sometimes imply, maybe unintentionally, that the speaker wasn't clear, or even that you're having trouble grasping the concept.
Ah, okay.
Whereas phrases like, I didn't catch that, or sorry, could you say that again? They gently put the blame on like the listening environment or maybe a momentary lapse in your attention.
Yeah.
It lets the conversation carry on without making anyone feel bad.
Much smoother. And we definitely need to apply this softening idea to disagreeing too, right? You need to be honest sometimes, but you don't want to sound like you're starting a fight.
Absolutely critical. The key is always to acknowledge the other person's point first. Never just jump in with, no, you're wrong. That shuts things down.
So what do you use?
That classic construction. I see your point, but,
Hmm.
or maybe, I'm not sure I agree with that. You're showing you've heard them, you respect their view before you offer your own idea. It keeps it a discussion, not an argument.
Right, keeps the door open. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Conversational dynamics, we have to talk about small talk.
Yes, small talk.
It seems so simple, maybe even pointless to some learners, talking about the weather or the weekend. But why is it actually like super important in English-speaking cultures for building connections?
It's basically social glue, or maybe like a social temperature check. Engaging in these short, easy, low-stakes chats about safe topics, it signals that you're open, you're friendly, you're available for interaction.
And if you avoid it,
If you consistently dodge small talk, you might accidentally come across as cold or maybe unapproachable, possibly even unfriendly, even if you're just trying to be efficient or you feel a bit shy.
so it's really about maintaining the relationship, not just exchanging information. Like that simple example, lovely day today, isn't it?
Yeah. And the reply, yeah, finally some sunshine after all that rain. It's simple, it's shared, it's non-threatening, it builds a little moment of connection.
Gotcha. And while we're talking about sounding smooth, what about those moments when you just need a second to think? Your brain needs to catch up.
Ah, filler phrases.
Mm.
Yes. Fluent speakers use these all the time, and they sound so much better than just, well, silence or a long,
Let me think. Okay, yeah, good one. Using it right there. What are some other useful ones?
perfect example.
Mm.
Let me think. This is great.
Mm.
Others are classics like, well, at the start of a thought, or the very common kind of reflective,
Uh-huh.
these little phrases, by you processing time while keeping the conversation moving, they signal you're still engaged, just formulating.
This feels like it leads to the bigger picture, the thing that ties all these phrases together, your intonation, your tone of voice.
Absolutely. This is the meta point, maybe the most important one. If you're learning these chunks, you have to learn how to deliver them.
It's not just what you say.
It's entirely how you say it, the musicality. Take a simple phrase like, what do you mean? Say it one way, it sounds curious, engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Say it another way, maybe sharp, rising tone. It sounds aggressive, accusatory, the same words. So getting the intonation right is what makes your softeners actually sound polite and your agreements sound genuine.
Huge difference. Okay, so we've covered starting, keeping it going.
Right.
What about ending? We need the smooth bookends for the conversation.
Yes, the start and the graceful exit, crucial.
So for starting, we've got our friend, hey, how's it going? What else is good?
Well, to mix it up, you could try something slightly more involved, like, what have you been up to? That invites a bit more of a story.
Okay.
And of course, if you haven't seen someone in a while, that absolute classic, long time no see, you pretty much have to use that one.
Yeah, it feels almost mandatory. And then the ending. This can be tricky. People worry about sounding rude when they need to leave. You get those awkward, lingering goodbyes sometimes.
Definitely. The key is to signal you need to wrap up, but do it politely and decisively. Phrases like, anyway, I better get going, work really well. The anyway signals a shift and I better get going. Politely blames an external reason, an obligation.
Smart. Take the pressure off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for a warmer finish, you can add something like, it was great catching up.
Hmm.
That nicely summarizes the positive interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final sign-off. Talk to you later. Or, see ya. These chunks, they just save you from those awkward trailing off moments. Keep it smooth right to the very end.
Okay, wow. That's a lot of practical stuff.
So when you boil it all down, what we've really uncovered here is that that feeling of fluency and confidence, it doesn't really come from mastering complex grammar rules.
Yeah.
Not primarily.
Mm.
It comes from getting good at using the right phrase for the right situation.
Yeah.
Learning to speak in these native chunks, it makes you faster and it helps you connect better.
Right. And the best way to actually learn these to make them stick isn't just like reading them off a list.
No, definitely not.
You need to use them maybe, like a little challenge. Try picking 2 or 3 phrases each day and just consciously use them. A 5-minute practice maybe, until they feel totally natural, automatic.
That's a great idea. It's almost like auditory training, muscle memory for your mouth. And actually that brings us to the final thought, something for you, the listener, to really chew on.
Okay.
Since we talk so much about how vital intonation is, here's the thing. Don't just memorize the words on the page. Really focus on hearing how native speakers actually say these phrases.
Listen closely.
Yeah, try to mimic the inflection, the rhythm, the slight tone they use for something like no worries or I see your point, but getting that musicality, that delivery right, that's the final piece of the puzzle. That's what will truly make it stick and make you sound completely natural.
That's a fantastic challenge. Focus on the sound, not just the script. Great way to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for learning with us today.
Talk to you later.